All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing good today. We got Nvidia earnings. The market is up pretty significantly here. Looks pretty good. Nasdaq is up to 21.5s right now. We're gonna put 21.5s up on the chart, which is right around here. Definitely gonna be paying attention to it. It's kind of a big psychological level. We just dipped underneath it. You can kind of see what's going on here. We got this isolated high up here at 25 too. So we're gonna watch that as well right here. See if we can find some other levels to get involved with this morning. Let me know if the sound is good. Should be pretty good. All right, let me drink my coffee here. All right, let me know if the sound is good. Sound should be pretty good. Oh, just volatility. I did misspell it. Okay, let me fix that. Hold on. Appreciate it. I had trouble going to sleep last night. There we go. All right, I fixed it. Volatility. All right, let me know if we're good. I recently switched my Ethernet cables too. I put that Cat 8 cable up. It should be doing better. Let me know if that works. Nvidia will bounce. Yeah, what do you guys think for Nvidia earnings today? Yeah, we got a big rally. Pretty nice rally overnight, honestly. How's the sound? We should be pretty good, honestly. Yeah, we should be pretty solid for everything. Let me drink some coffee. But you guys doing good? I'm gonna look at maybe a dip to the 200 exponential right here, 460. We got some previous levels there and stuff too, so I'm kind of watching that spot. There we go. Look at this dip though. We are falling down underneath some stuff. All right, guys. So let's talk about everything going on in the markets. The market's now pulling back after running pretty nice overnight. Today we have Nvidia earnings. We got the Fed minutes report and more. So we actually got a whole bunch of stuff going on today. We're gonna give you a quick, comprehensive view of what went down in markets. Stock futures are. Hold on, let me make sure this is right. Q is green, SPY is green today, slightly green. The S&P and NASDAQ are on track for their best month since November of 2023, buoyed by easing tariff tensions and positive earnings. The president has postponed the implementation of a 50% tariff that he threatened on the European Union last week. Now it's until July 9th. He originally gave them, I think it was until June 1st or something like that. I think it's now July 9th, allowing more time for negotiation. It's contributed to recent market optimism and upward movement in markets. The U.S. has temporarily reduced tariffs on Chinese goods as well, from a peak of 145% to 30% for 90 days. In response, China has also lowered tariffs on U.S. exports from 125 to 10%, signaling potentially easing trade tensions. We'll see if that continues. India and the U.S. are aiming to finalize an interim trade agreement by June 25th, ahead of the upcoming tariff deadline, indicating progress. We had better than expected consumer confidence yesterday, reflecting increased optimism about the economy. We got the minutes from the Federal Reserve's May meeting today. Taiwan trimmed its 2025 GDP growth forecast, citing uncertainties stemming from U.S. tariff policies, highlighting global impact of American trade decisions. And yeah, today we got Nvidia earnings later on this evening. It's a pretty big thing. GameStop announces the purchase of 4,710 Bitcoins. Bitcoin is awaiting the VP Vance address at a crypto event later today. That might make Bitcoin go up. Bitcoin currently sitting just under 111s. Elevance Health reaffirmed 2025 earnings guidance. Match Group CEO Raskoff aims to revamp Tinder away from hookups in order to appeal to Gen Z, according to Wall Street Journal. Amazon and Stellantis are winding down their smart cockpit project. Honeywell is reportedly set to add an Elliott executive to its board ahead of splitting. All right, guys. So, yeah, that's the big news. Again, we got Nvidia set to release Q1 2025 earnings today. It's projected to post a 66% increase in revenue, with EPS expected at 75% on revenue of $43.25 billion. Let me make sure that's actually correct here. Sometimes the expectations can be wrong. I just want to make sure this is right. Hold on. Today we had Dick's Sporting Goods, Abercrombie Fitch release at 7:30 in about 6 minutes. Macy's, VNet, KC, Columbus, Capri, Eagle Point, Monroe, and more. But yeah, Nvidia earnings expected at 85 cents a share on about 42.7 billion. So that's about right. 82%, or I'm sorry. I'm showing 85 expected, but anywhere between 80 and 85% EPS expected for Nvidia on revenue of 43.25 billion. Yeah, the average estimate showed about 75. Low estimate's 71. High estimate's 95. So we'll see what we get there. But lows at 71, averages at about 75. We also have HP, expected earnings at 80 cents. Synopsys, projected earnings at 340. Elf expected at 72 cents a share. Dick's Sporting Goods came in at... We also have Salesforce this evening with Nvidia. But yeah, DKS came in as expected. Revenue of 317. So still waiting on A&F and some other ones. We'll do a poll here. Yeah, GameStop, guys. Look at GameStop. GameStop all the way up to almost $40 after buying up Bitcoin this morning. Look at GameStop on the top right chart. It's up there. Hey, looks good. All right, so we got a poll with all the market catalysts today. Does the NASDAQ close red or green? Vote on that poll. Let me know how you feel. Yeah. We got some stuff. IEAE chief. Trying to look at other news. It's mostly centered around, we got the Fed minutes, we got Nvidia earnings, we got Salesforce earnings today. Tomorrow we got GDP data. Friday we have PCE data, inflation. Yeah, we'll see if we get any other news come out, but we did our poll. Our poll is now live. Again, we asked people with all the market catalysts today, does the NASDAQ close red or green? 47% say green, 33% say red, 20% said I don't know. Nvidia earnings are this evening after the closing bell today. It's technically scheduled for 4:20 Eastern Standard Time today for Nvidia earnings. We'll cover it live as we always do. Salesforce is right at the closing bell at 4 p.m. C3 AI is at 4:05. ELF is at 4:05. And more, but Nvidia is scheduled for 4:20 Eastern Standard Time. Again, look at GameStop, man. Honestly, GameStop is up there. GameStop has been in this range for a minute now too. Like, it's been in this $30, $25, $30 range for a pretty extended period of time. Like, it's been between $20 and $30 since January. So we're finally out of that range for GameStop. We'll see if it continues. NASDAQ, again, is up pretty significantly this morning. We'll see if that holds or what. But, yeah. Check any other breaking news releases. Yeah, Case-Shiller house price index yesterday showed up at 4.1% versus 4.5%. Durable goods showed up a little bit better than expected. Hassett said we're going to see some deals. People are still watching Japanese bond yields. We're looking at 21.5 right here. I almost want to short this. Do we want to short this? I kind of do. I'll take one contract here. One. I'm worried we're going to get choppiness today too, though, but we'll take one contract. We'll add to it if we're green. See if we can break down to that 200 exponential moving average for a longer term day trade here. It's a little early, but that's all right. Abercrombie and Fitch should have just dropped their numbers here. Let's see if they did. Because A&F, which is one of the sketchiest, honestly, in my opinion, is one of the sketchiest companies right now. There's no reason it should ever be anywhere close to where it's at. All right, we're going to add to this here, and then we're just going to leave it like 2 contracts max. But yeah, A&F is out. They are up. They posted 159, beat 140 EPS, revenue of 110, beat the 108 billion estimates. So I guess they got over $1 billion in revenue. As somebody that grew up wearing Abercrombie and Fitch, I'm just incredibly sketched out by them. Incredibly sketched out by them. Again, Abercrombie and Fitch. They are pumping up right now. Look at A&F. I'll probably have to cut this pretty soon. We're down like $30 on this. Yeah, it just ripped up too much. We'll have to wait now. Too strong of a move up. We had Gap earnings come in for Abercrombie and Fitch at 1140 versus 1075. Oh, wait, no, they lowered guidance. I'm sorry. So A&F lowered guidance. Again, Abercrombie & Fitch, one of the sketchiest companies in the market right now. Look at this. Who's buying Abercrombie & Fitch still, genuinely? Because when I go to the stores, nobody's ever there. It's a candle. Yeah, Nvidia earnings today are huge. We have all kind of news today. We have Nvidia earnings. We've got, yeah, let me pull up Discord part. We got Nvidia earnings. We've got Fed minutes report and more. Okay, so Southwest new baggage fee is going to boost profits by more than $400 million. They are raising their baggage fees. They plan to end its bag-free policy. I'm getting kind of stubborn here. I'm going to short this again. We've had a few really nice green days in the NASDAQ. There we go. That's better. We got initially green here. I'm going to take half off here, lock it in, and maybe add back to it. Looks like it was a good thing to take half off there, and then we'll see what we get. I just don't want to see a bounce here. Yeah, Abercrombie and Fitch expects fiscal quarter 2 EPS to be at 230 versus 246 expected. Honestly, it's making it run though. Look at this. Like, it's running when it shouldn't be. And this is why I don't like Abercrombie, is because like this thing has gone up and down ridiculous percentages over the past year. Look, it's now at $100 a share. This thing has gone up to 196, down to 65, back up to 100. It's just incredibly shady and sketchy. I don't trust it at all. I'm going to add to this. See if we can dip some more real quick. There we go. There we go. We're going to add a little bit more. Nice. Cut it right there. All right, so we're flat on the day now. After all that, back and forth. I might actually short a little retracement up too. So if it retraces up to 21.5, I'm going to short that pretty quickly, I think, as well. Yeah, Abercrombie and Fitch finally starting to retrace a little bit, which it kind of needs to. It's just a sketchy stock. I just don't like it. And again, I grew up wearing Abercrombie and Fitch stuff. I just don't trust the company at all. I'm trying to look at AMC to see if it's running with... I'm going to short this again. I'm trying to look at AMC to see if it's running with GameStop. You know, AMC, GameStop can kind of move with each other. So I'm kind of looking at this now. What a weird pop. I'm going to short back into it, and then we're going to hold one contract. Maybe we're going to chop sideways. We're back to flat. There we go. I'm going to take half of that off and just protect the trade. Let the one contract work. All right, so A and F starting to pull back some. We're green on this trade too, but it's starting to rebound back up. I want to let it battle 21.5s. If it gets over 21.5s, we're still pretty much break even and we can cut it. But if it rejects and breaks down, which is what we want it to do, we're shorting here. Yeah, there we go. That's better. That looks good. We're gonna add to this now. So we added to our winning position here. I want to give it a second to test 21.5. So we're flat now on it. Break even on the day, give or take. And ideally what I want here is, like, I want to see if it comes back down to this level. This 200 exponential down here. That's kind of what I want. If it rebounds, I'll be all right. We're getting these big candles up, big candles down too. Indian M3 money supply came in at 9.5% versus a previous of 9.5%. We also had OPEC Plus may discuss 2027 baselines and agreed to a July hike this week. So we added to a winning position. I don't know what I want to do with this now. We're basically flat on the day, but I do want to give it a second to go in my favor. It's not far, like, this is my break-even level, so we can let it work a little bit, I guess. I wanted to see if 21.5 would reject it, but it's just not happening, so I think I'll probably cut it here. and be basically flat on the day. Not unless it makes a quick big retracement back down to retest. That's kind of one, but I don't think it's big enough. Nvidia is what we want to watch today too, man. Nvidia. Let's see if we can look at the earnings. Yeah, so let's talk about the guidance numbers to pay attention to for Nvidia's Q1 earnings today. Because I think guidance numbers are going to be really interesting to watch. I think those are going to be the make or break at levels for Nvidia. We finally got A&F pulling back a little bit here. Look at A&F dip. Still a sketchy company. Let me catch you back up on the chat. What's up, Dips? Yao, GameStop, Mike, Robert, Edwin, Discipline, Prime, Chase, Sam, B, David, Ava, Clinton, Hornets, Todd, everybody else. Let's see if we can go back green on this one. We're basically flat now. Now we're green. I'm going to remove half of this just to protect the trade because we're now basically flat on the position. And so if we rebound back up, I'm not going to lose as much. It'll be a much smaller loss. Yeah, so the guidance numbers to listen for here. All right, so again, revenue projected at 43.3 billion, 66% year-over-year increase. All right, so it looks like we're gonna have to cut this one now. I'll let it test this level here, but we're getting kind of a sideways movement in markets. But let's talk about it. So EPS expected around 75 cents. Gross margins anticipated at 70.6% for GAAP, which is generally accepted accounting principles. Just to let you know, if you hear GAAP, it's generally accepted accounting principles. It's 71% for non-GAAP. You want to pay attention to AI infrastructure demand. Apple, Meta, Google, Amazon, Microsoft are all investing pretty heavily into AI tech, and they're going to be paying attention to that, bolstering Nvidia's data center segment. And so that's what you want to watch. You want to listen to the Blackwell rollout updates. The introduction of Blackwell architecture is anticipated to drive future growth. Ramp up phase still may exert pressure on margins, though. Export chip restrictions to China. U.S. export restrictions on Nvidia's H2O chips to China are big things to watch. They pose challenges, of course. People are worried about a revenue loss of up to $5.5 billion from that. Yeah, again, we're still in this. We're flat on the day. I'm trying to let this work. This is one micro contract, so I can be a little looser with it. Again, so macroeconomic uncertainty, tariffs, these are all going to impact potentially Nvidia's future movement. Analysts are expecting, or they might express caution due to uncertainties and regulatory changes could impact Nvidia's near-term sales guidance, particularly in Q2. So watch for that. Guidance for the second quarter. I'm trying to find the expected Q2 and fiscal year guidance. All right, so we're back down to flat on this position. So analysts anticipate Nvidia to project Q2 revenue around $45.9 billion, reflecting a 53% year-over-year increase. All right, so we're back green on this position, or we were for a split second. Due to the U.S. trade ban impacting almost $6 billion worth of H2O chips, some estimates suggest revenue could fall to the low $40 billion area. Again, gross margins expected to be approximately 74.4 to 75% non-GAAP, with a potential plus 50 basis points, which is 0.5%. Operating expenses expected around 4.3 billion GAAP. All right, so we're back to green on this. There we go. I'm gonna short a little bit more. See if we can get a flush breakdown. There we go. We just need a little bit more of a breakdown and we'll be good. But it's so flat right now and choppy. Kind of want it to break down a little bit more. I want to see if it goes down to the 200 exponential. It's early, so we're taking small positions. Tax rate anticipated to be 17%. I wish my tax rate was 17%, bro. 17? Come on now, give me that tax rate. I'll take it. All right, so fiscal year 2025, Nvidia reported 130.5 billion, 114% increase from previous GAAP EPS for the year at 294, up 147%. Non-GAAP EPS 299. What time is Nvidia earnings? It is at 4:20 Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, we're kind of flat in this position. It's not really doing much though. We're kind of neutral. There we go. All right, we're gonna cut half, protect the trade. See if we get a little breakdown here a little bit more. I at least want to break down to like 480s. So that's kind of what I want. Reddit's hard to monetize, but I think it's a big company. It's just the worry that I have is the future of technology growth and how that impacts Reddit long term. An example of this is like forums in general are kind of on their way out because of the rise of smartphones and social media. And so people don't use forums anymore because they mostly just use social media now. The worry is now the same impacts to Reddit in the future. You know what I mean? So like that's the worry regarding Reddit. So we've already taken some profit here. We're green on the day. But if this thing turns on us, we can get out mostly flat. Yeah, AI might change technology. That's what I'm worried about, in all honesty. All right, I'm going to go ahead and cut this. We're now green on the day. We wrote it down. I don't want it to bounce right here at this previous low, which I think it might. Again, if we take a look at the SPY Q, SPY is right at that previous closing price, like 591s. JP Morgan, our Japanese bond sales were soft but successful. Yeah. What happened to Reddit? I mean, Reddit is just longer term downward trend. It hit 230s back in February of this year, but it's been one of those stocks that have really negatively reacted to the correction here. So here's Reddit right now. If you put up a yearly chart, it was at 230s in February, all-time highs. It's now all the way down to 104s. Pretty big downfall for them. All right, so U.S. State Department. We're not going to cover this. Too foreign policy related. Netflix is up. It broke all-time highs yesterday. Yeah, Netflix broke all-time highs yesterday. Today it's still up. Basically, it's right around all-time highs for Netflix. And again, man, I told people I thought Netflix was right. I told people this is why. Live sports with Netflix. Like, this is very easy to tell. Like, live sports with Netflix is coming. You can tell it's coming, and it's gonna make Netflix earn bank, like lots of money, you know. So it's gonna make Netflix earn a lot of money. All right, so maybe I could have held my short and continued to earn from it, but we got ourselves pretty green in it, so we'll take the green. But yeah, Netflix broke all-time highs yesterday. It's sitting right around all-time highs now. If we look at Netflix, live sports coming to Netflix, man. Yeah, CoreWeave was one of the big ones. CoreWeave sitting at 120s today, 120s. Here's CoreWeave. Look at that chart. 33s all the way to 123s. Hit 33s on April 20th. It's now all the way up to 123s. One of the biggest gains in markets here. Yeah, some of these should be out already. Let me just reduce that. Checking other notifications here this morning. Germany's Chancellor Merz says we'll continue to increase pressure on Russia. Supermicro. Let's take a look at yields this morning. All right, guys, taking a look at yields. Yields are currently... It looks like they're down a little bit again. They're down to 4.45%. Yeah, so yields are still down, which is good. That's kind of what you want. You want yields to be down. Lower interest rate sentiment is what it means. We put a 5-day chart. This is yields. So yeah, yields have basically steady been dropping since last Friday. Really before that, with renewed optimism that maybe we're going to get a deal done. But yeah, here's yields right now. Yields are currently at 4.46% for Treasury yields. 10-year Treasury yields, that is 4.46%. If we take a look at the expectations for rates here, we're still 98 to 2% likely that we're going to pause rates in June. So we're not going to cut. We're going to pause rates in June. It's looking like not unless we get like weak GDP data tomorrow and high PCE data. Or I'm sorry, that's the opposite. Not unless we get like weak GDP data and low PCE data on Friday. That might increase the odds of a cut if we get like weak economics. But as of now, it's 98 to 2% likely that we're going to pause rates on coming June. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, yields are down. A lot of people are going to be happy about that. So yeah, we got the Fed minutes today, man. That's fun. Yeah, I think right now the odds are September, right? I think the odds are September. So it's looking like September is when we're finally going to get a cut. Who knows though, man. All right, dude. There it is. All right, so we're testing that 21.5 level. I don't know if I want to short this again. Yeah. Should be cutting down. Inflation is cooling. Maybe. HUD calls on Fed to cut rates help stimulate home sales. You ever consider swing trading? Yeah, I like swing trading. One of the biggest statistical edges in swing trading is just buying dips and then dollar cost averaging into the pullbacks and waiting for rebounds in healthy indices, indexes, etc. That is, you know, like, okay, you get so much doom and gloom in markets. The biggest statistical edge is that markets are going to go up long term. This is just objectively true, right? Short term, who freaking knows? Market might go up, down, sideways, correct, crash. We don't know. What we do know is that if you buy dips and you wait long enough, you're probably going to make money if you buy the right indexes, you know. And so with that in mind, sitting around waiting to buy the NASDAQ on big pullbacks, on big red days, like it can be a powerful strategy. And it's a strategy that kind of goes against holding too long as well. Like you could buy a dip, take profit, buy a dip, take profit. As long as you're willing to hold long enough in the bad corrections, you'll still be pretty safe, I would say. I'm not going to say super safe because anything can freaking happen. I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose money. Understand CFTC 4.41. I might trade and lose off stream. You might not see it. Don't copy me. I'm not an investment professional. Top 3 best and worst trader of all time. But still, yeah, consumer confidence report yesterday was decent. I don't know if it was amazing, but it was decent. CB consumer confidence, not the biggest report either. It showed up at 86 versus 85.7. Oh no, I'm sorry. It showed up at 98 versus 86. So it actually was pretty solid. It moved markets too. The market went up from it. Again, I can't guarantee anybody's going to make money. Don't copy me. Bank of Japan posts a record bond loss as interest rates rise. So the Bank of Japan reported a record loss on its holdings of Japanese government bonds in the latest fiscal year, reflecting interest rate increases and the changes from it. The Japanese central bank recorded an unrealized loss of 28.625 trillion, equivalent to about 200 billion USD on its JGB holdings in the year ended March, significantly wider than the 9.434 trillion loss in the previous year. So again, it lost almost 30 trillion versus 10 trillion lost in the previous fiscal year. So yeah, they did pretty bad. That's scaring a lot of people, the Japanese bond market. So expectations for Nvidia earnings are about 75 cents a share, low 40s in revenue. My plan for the day is that we're going to get choppy, sideways, neutral, but big range is what I'm thinking today. I think we're going to get like choppy, neutral, sideways stuff with big range. We'll see. It's almost 8 a.m. In terms of economic data, we really don't have anything at 8:30 today. We just got a whole bunch of reports. We got Fed minutes. We've got Nvidia. We've got more. So we got the NBA 30-year mortgage rate showed up today higher again. NBA 30-year mortgage rate showed up at almost 7% at 6.98% this morning. 6.98%, higher than last time at 6.92%. And this 30-year rate has been steadily rising up higher and higher. So we'll see what we get, but yeah, so we'll see how much the China trade ban is going to impact Nvidia. All right, NASDAQ is over 21.5 here. We're still in a pretty sideways range, although it does look a lot. It looks pretty bull flaggish here. CoreWeave, obviously one that we're watching. We can take a look at Palantir. CoreWeave just went red on the day. Palantir is still slightly red, but it's still at 120. Still been holding there pretty well. Look at this big spike up here. Looks pretty bull flaggish right here, though. Nvidia spike it up, too. Look at Nvidia hit 136.50. Highs of the day are right around 136.56. So it's up there. At the top of the range. Look at Nvidia, though. Nvidia has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 green candles in a row now. I've learned to get funded, it's much easier to scale in with micros than it is to take one NASDAQ contract. Like, scaling in with micros just makes way more sense, dude. It's just better trades to get involved with scaling in with micros. There we go. All right, look at that 21.5 level. GameStop filed and announced they bought. Yeah, so I saw that they filed an 8K saying they bought up almost 5,000 Bitcoin for GameStop. I did see that. But again, something just made them turn all the way back down. They're now at $35 a share. Still doing pretty good, but yeah, I mean, Nvidia's probably not going to miss. You never know, though. Nvidia's probably not going to miss. So we do have something going on. So White House trade advisor Navarro says bond market is wrong about president's bill, according to The Hill. Yeah, so again, they basically said that the bond market is wrong about the president's tax bill, according to The Hill. All right, so it's past 8 o'clock. The 8 a.m. scrum is over now. Let's go ahead and post this. All right, NASDAQ bounced right at 21.5 and just continued higher. Look at this. Yeah, Abercrombie Fitch flying up still. Macy's reported earnings. They posted slightly better than expected EPS at 16 cents versus 14 cents expected. Revenue of $4.46 billion versus $4.79 billion expected. Or no, better than $4.46 billion. They posted $4.8 billion roughly, so better than expected. Who knew? I mean, I've been to Macy's. It's like a ghost town there usually, though. I mean, that's one of those stores that's almost certainly going out of business. You know? Again, mostly mixed earnings, though, today. We had some beats, some misses. All right, so we're testing this top of the range at 510s. We're kind of still in that sideways range. It depends on if Nvidia keeps bouncing up. GameStop bouncing right at that previous closing price. We have some news. Toyota plans to increase plug-in EVs from 2.4% last year to roughly 20% of its U.S. sales volume by 2030, according to CNBC. So Toyota getting involved with EVs. We got Bayer putting out some news that they were granted FDA priority review treatment for some of their patients with one of their bio drugs. Here's a big dip, testing that 21.5 level again. Look at this pullback in markets. GameStop buys $500 million worth of Bitcoin, and again, that's mostly why it's up a lot today. Still has $5.5 billion in cash and $15.5 billion market cap. Yeah, GameStop. The SOFR rate is 4.31% yesterday versus 4.26% the previous Friday. All right, right at that 21.5 level. I'm not going to buy it up, but it kind of looks like an interesting dip buy right here. We'll see if it holds. Yeah, we're going to watch GameStop for sure. Nvidia's the big boy too. We also have we got a whole bunch of stuff today, man. All right, so we did hold right there at 21.5 exactly. This looks like a bullish thing. We got another little challenge account that we're playing with here. I'll put it up. This one we care much less if we lose. So we're just going to buy into a pullback here. Play with it. Take 25 contracts here. See what happens. So a little retracement back up. Let's see if it holds. I'm going to cut a piece of this down here, reduce size by about 40%. There we go. Cut a little bit more there, protect. There we go. There we go. There we go. Looks good. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and cut it on this little breakout here. You love to see it. Kind of bought this little candle up. Nvidia is still pushing up here. We're at 136.70s right now. 136.70s. Reuters poll in the S&P 500 index to end 2025 at 5,900 versus previous 6,500 in a February poll. Dow Jones expected to end 2025 at 43.7 versus previous of 47. So both polls regarding the S&P and the Dow have decreased sentiment regarding the closing price of the year. And that ain't good. You know, that ain't good, but still. Yeah, did we drop a little bit just now? We should be good, I think. Let me know if we did. Again, make sure you guys hit the live button next to the play button. Catch back up on stream. Did we drop a little bit? It shows that we're pretty clean here, buffering wise, in terms of frames. We're running 5 kbps. Pretty smooth. But let me know. Like, I got this new Cat 8 cord. I'm wondering if I should exit out of some stuff. We should be pretty good here. I know one thing I need to do is I know what I need to get. Let me exit out of this. Yeah, we do have Barkin speaking in about 22 minutes as well. Stream seems fine to me. Okay, cool. We're good? Yeah, it shows like it's running pretty clean on my end. Yield max. Paying 0.21 divvy this week. That's not bad. Look at this bounce on the NASDAQ at 21.5. Still running up. Nvidia up there to 136.80s here. Still looking pretty solid. GameStop rebounding back up at 35. Look at the NASDAQ start to run, and this is partly due to Nvidia, it looks like here. All right, so China's strategic reserve is going to auction off 2,300 metric tons of frozen beef and mutton on May 30th, according to Reuters, citing a notice. So we got that going on here. Again, it's looking about 98 to 2% likely that we are going to be cutting or pausing rates next month in June. So we're watching 525 up there. We're looking at it, see if we get anything good there. No, I don't use hotkeys. All right, so here's a pullback here. Again, this 21.5 level is kind of like my line in the sand area on the trend that we're in. If we're over to this, still thinking a little bit bullish. If we start to break underneath this, I'm thinking a little bearish, but who knows, man. We'll see what we get. Yeah, I'm checking up on big news. And again, the story of the day is Nvidia earnings. We got a lot of stuff to cover. They project quarter 2 revenue to be about $46 billion, 53% year-over-year increase. The big impending trade ban might impact almost $6 billion worth of H2O chip sales. And that's kind of the big story of Nvidia earnings today, is how much will that H2O ban potentially impact sales for them. Gross margin expected to be about 74.4% for GAAP and 75% for non-GAAP. Operating expenses expected at $4.3 billion GAAP and $3 billion non-GAAP. Tax rate expected to be 7% plus or minus 1 percentage point. Full year 2025, they reported $130.5 billion, marking a 114% year-over-year increase. GAAP EPS for the year currently at $2.94, up 147%. Non-GAAP EPS at almost $3, 130% increase. Guidance is, of course, the biggest thing to pay attention to with all of this stuff is guidance. Again, in a Reuters poll, they think the S&P is going to close at 59 versus 6,500 last time. They think the Dow is going to close at 43.7 versus 47 even in the last one. So they both think we're going to get some retractions in the year closing price for this stuff. GAAP is generally accepted accounting principles. Non-GAAP just means less strict. That's why they're usually a little bit better. So yeah, GAAP generally accepted accounting principles. Non-GAAP a little different. You know. All right, guys, we're still consolidating up here. And the big story is GameStop today, them buying up $500 million worth of Bitcoin. You can see Bitcoin prices all the way down under 108s, under 109s, though. They're at 108s now, and at least in Bitcoin futures. Palantir, again, dipping a little bit earlier this morning, but has since pushed up and broken the previous closing price It's now technically green on the day. The NASDAQ is still pushing up. And again, we got this 21.5 kind of red to green level that I have on my charts. This is the level I'm watching. I'm looking up there to 525s. Kind of a big whole dollar spot. And yeah, we'll see if we get anything good. Do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Everything we do here is free. We don't sell a course. Don't claim to be experts. Just kind of give people free stuff. And so we appreciate the love. Thanks so much. We'll see if we can get some good growth continuing here. All right, so NASDAQ's pushing up. Palantir's pushing up. Nvidia has been making some moves, though, as well. Nvidia in the last hour has gone up, broken highs of the day, and now it's sitting at 136, almost 137s here. A little bit underneath it at 136.77 is the high of the day for Nvidia ahead of its Q1 earnings this evening. GameStop nearing all-time highs? I don't think so. For GameStop, I don't think it's close to all-time highs, right? All-time highs for this has got to be way up there at 120s. Yeah, it's at 35s. It's got a ways to go. I rode GameStop up. This was a pre-split price of like 550 is the 120 level. Like this is post-split. So they split it and changed it, but it was like 550. I remember that. So I know we're nowhere close to it right now. John, do you think the market conditions are in a state where we can make all-time highs? I mean, sure. I mean, we're certainly in a place where we can make all-time highs. We also might not, and we might correct it. It depends on what happens with tariffs. I'll put it this way. If we get a deal done with China, like a finalized deal done with China, we get a finalized deal done with the European Union, if we get a finalized deal done with India, it is very probable, in my opinion, that we're going to push up and test highs. Think about how optimistic that would be considering the landscape of markets over this year in 2025 so far. So if we get a deal done with all these countries, market's going to fly up. Like imagine how much the market went up just on the 90-day pause news for China, for the pause news for Europe. Now imagine if we get a finalized deal done with all three of those countries. Market's going to fly if we do. Again, that's a big if, though. We might not, and if we don't, it could go the other way where we might completely turn and start heading down. And so it's certainly possible. I don't know if it's probable. We'll have to wait and see. It just depends. DCAing into Bitcoin isn't obvious. Yeah, I mean, I like DCAing into Bitcoin. Who knows, though? Bitcoin can downtrend for a long time. So I think if you hold it long enough, sure. The problem is people buy it, it goes down for a year or two, they get mad, sell it, and then they miss the big move up is what happens with Bitcoin. And again, China's strategic reserve to auction 2,300 metric tons of frozen beef and mutton on May 30th, according to Reuters. All right, so 50% of U.S. large cap mutual funds have outperformed their benchmarks year to date, the highest share since 2022 bear market. This is their second best year in 16 years. Historically, only 37% of funds have outperformed their benchmarks on average. This comes as the S&P 500 experienced its most volatile start to a year since 2020. And you know what? These investors were doing more than anything else, right? Like the problem that people have regarding markets, the big hole in people's game, is that when markets start to go down, they think it's going to continue to go down. And when markets start to go up, they think it's going to, and so people have to understand that one of the things that these hedge fund managers and all these guys see is that when we pull back 25, 30%, they understand that it's a high chance that we're going to get a deal done. And so they start buying that dip and they ride this move up where you got a lot of people that are biased by a lot of different areas. Politics on both sides cause a lot of bias. And people miss out on the dips, Like I was able to buy a small dip. It's certainly not as large as I would prefer it to be. But at the same time, I told people pretty clearly that if we got a deal done, markets are going to fly. I think the markets are going to go up long term regardless of what they do short term. And so I think something that the hedge funds do that are very smart is like they see these big 25%, 30% dips and they start to buy into that. People that get emotional, they think the market's just going to be in some never-ending bear trend, and they're almost always wrong from my experience. They might be right once every blue moon, but it's certainly not very often. Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin, there's a lot of things that make it a really interesting investment long term. The main points of it is that there's a finite amount of mineable crypto Bitcoin. There's a finite amount of mineable Bitcoin. So you got to think about, like, people act like Bitcoin's just made up money. What Bitcoin really is a service. It's a service, and it's like online gold. So there's a finite amount of them. It's most likely going to go up long term, and it's gonna go up more and more and more, most likely, as more and more Bitcoin are mined. And it's pretty safe. It's not really hackable. You can't really fake it, and you can send money anywhere in the world, regardless of status. And that's a powerful thing. Yeah, paper money's made up. Like, if we want to debate tangibility, there's a lot of fun debates to have there. Gold's a shiny rock, but people just like to argue. Again, I've said it once, I'll say it again. Most of the people that attack Bitcoin are people who missed out on the bull runs, and they want to pretend they didn't miss out on anything, so they just act like it's nothing and it's worthless or whatever as it goes higher and higher and higher and higher, and so that's what it really is. So Macy's CEO says it will maximize gross margin dollars through strategic pricing decisions to deal with tariff impact. So again, Macy's saying it's going to maximize gross margin dollars through strategic pricing decisions. Basically, they're going to raise prices is what it sounds like to me. Yeah, GameStop buying up Bitcoin. I think it's smart getting into collectibles, buying Bitcoin. I think these are the things that GameStop needs to do in order to succeed long term. It got into collectibles, started selling Pokemon cards, started buying up Pokemon cards, got involved with that collectibles market, which is on a big run. Like, it's been hot. Those markets have been hot over the last 10, 20 years. And so they got in collectibles, they buy up Bitcoin. I think those are good moves for the company. I think that's kind of what they need to do. Now, I think they're going to still lose business to digital downloads as time goes on. I think this is just objectively true, regardless of what you want or don't want or support or don't support. Gamers don't download, or gamers don't buy physical copies much anymore. I know people, and again, something that, like, I see this all the time. People have a genuine misunderstanding about what the word generally means. Like, generalized, people have a big misunderstanding. I'll be like, generally, people don't like to download, or people don't like to buy physical copies of video games anymore. And then somebody else will bring up, but nah, bro, my sister's cousin's grandpa bought physical copies yesterday. It's like, sure, that's probably true, but you got to look up what the definition of generally is, sir. Because generally people don't like to buy physical copies of video games. And as memory gets better and better and better, it's going to become less and less that people buy physical copies. Now, GameStop will always make money through console sales, because you're going to need to buy consoles until like a cloud gaming hybrid or something like that takes off, and who knows when that's going to happen. But you're still going to need to sell consoles, but that's only about once a decade, maybe. And so GameStop's got to find other ways to make money. And I think the collectibles thing is good. But I think as time goes on, people are going to have less of a need for GameStop. And so they got to pivot to other businesses. And we'll see if they can do it successfully. I'm rooting for them. I really am. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, no, Macy's, Kohl's, they're all going to fail, along with Dollar General as well over time. So, like, Macy's, it's on its way out. JCPenney's definitely on its way out, bro. We took my daughter to buy clothes at JCPenney, and she turned around and walked the other way, bro. What she said is, this is old people clothes. And so we went to JCPenney. JCPenney, nobody was in there. Honestly, it was kind of like dim. You couldn't really see that well. Like the lights weren't on all the way. It seemed really sketchy in JCPenney. So JCPenney is probably on its genuinely way out. Macy's is close. Dollar Tree, Dollar General, they were on their way out also. All right, so we just tapped right at this previous high at 525s or so. Got right up to it. Didn't quite hit it, but we're now pulling back into some of these levels here at 510, 515. We'll see if we bounce on the NASDAQ. Yeah. People measure Bitcoin in terms of Satoshis per Bitcoin. Important to understand that allow you to let go of unit bias. Yeah, for sure. Coles. Yeah, Coles is done too. All right, look at this spike in the NASDAQ here. So this looks catalyst driven. Let's see if there's some news that just came out, but this seems catalyst driven to me. Hey, thank you, Vegas, for the donation. Here, let me cover this news and I got you, Vegas. I appreciate the dono, brother. Thanks so much. Let me see what news this is. Something just happened that spiked markets up here. Gotta confirm this. Hold on. Anybody know what happened, or is this just like a big pop with not much reasoning behind it? I don't see much going on. Yeah, I don't see much going on right now. That's a big pop, though. I see Macy's news. All right, anyway, we'll go to this. So considering the mystery surrounding Satoshis, do you believe that institutions which now have assumed control could potentially do a rug pull on Bitcoin sometime in the future? I don't know. I don't think so, but who knows, man? I mean, it's possible. I appreciate the $10 donation, brother. Thanks so much. It's possible. I don't know if it's probable. Like, it could happen. I don't know if it's going to, but it could. I appreciate the donation, though. Yeah, we got this big pop over highs. Now we're kind of contracting back down a little bit. Let's see what GameStop, Nvidia, Apple do today. Yeah, all good. I appreciate the donation, Vegas. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Yeah, so again, 8:30's here. We don't have any economic reports for 8:30, though. Like, it's not really an 8:30 economic report type of day. It's more of like Fed minutes, Nvidia earnings type of day. Again, mortgages showed up at 6.98% this morning. Okay, so Chinese vice premier met with a Morgan Stanley executive in China, according to them. So look, this news just came out that the Chinese vice premier met with a Morgan Stanley executive in China. Is this optimistic? Look at this pullback now, though. Look at this drop that we're getting here, chat. So we are getting a dip, a drop right now in markets. Wow. This is a pullback for sure. All right, so yeah, China's vice premier said they met with Morgan Stanley. Look at this red showing up, chat. Wow. I'm wondering if this is news related here. I'm trying to see. We don't really have any 8:30 news today, though. We got Elon Musk's XAI is partnering with Telegram. It's a dip. Do we buy the dip up? I'm going to try. We're going to buy 4 contracts here. 4. And we're just getting punished. It's micro contracts, by the way, so we are down $16, but still, you don't love to see it. I'm going to limit some of the size up here, though. That's better. I'll show you guys this trade. There we go. We got 4 contracts here. I'm gonna take half of this off though, lock it in, and then we got 2 contracts left. I want to see if this continues up, but now it's not gonna be the end of the world if it doesn't. Come on, bounce off of my entry here. Hold support at my entry. Let's see if it does. I'm thinking we might have choppiness today, though. All right, so here's 8:30 Eastern Standard Time report. We don't have any reports actually at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time today. Yeah, we got the FOMC minutes report, and then we have Nvidia earnings afterwards. There we go. We're green now. I'm gonna add to this, see if we get a little pop. I want to give it some time. I mean, we're basically flat. Delta. I know Delta. Was it Delta or Southwest? Southwest changed their baggage policy today. So, all right. So now we're flat. Do I want to add to this? I think I'll try to. See if we bounce here at the bottom. But if not, we're going to be basically flat on the day. Yeah. Well, we built up a cushion, and now we just kind of keep dropping down. So we're green in one of these and then red in the other one. Ah, look at that retracement. White House CEA Chair Milan says Canada is anxious for a trade deal with the U.S. on the European Union. Says I think they will come around. I want to buy back into this. I think I want to try to. We're going to buy here. We're going to try to scale into a position here. This is a combine account, so like it's small. And I think the way to play these challenge accounts is to start with micros. I'm going to look to buy into 21.5s on a string of pullbacks. All right, so basically, I think Canada wants to get a deal done. I think they do too, but I think they're also kind of stubborn regarding like deals with us. Yeah, we're still kind of flat on this one. We're down a little bit, but I want to give it time to bounce. It's at the bottom of the range. Southwest is lame. Yeah, honestly, you get eaten alive at the airport with these bag fees too, bro. Like, it's so, they're ridiculous, man. They're just bad. They're high. You can't really do anything. Like, you got to just deal with it. All right, that's better. We took one off there on the spike. I like Canadians, though. Canadians are actually nice people for the most part. All right, we took another little piece off here. You'd love to see it. Let's see if the grind up continues. I'm going to add to this, though. 2 contracts. See if we get a rip back up. I've been trying to be a lot more patient with these positions. We did really well yesterday, the day before. But I've been playing with micros a lot more. There we go. I'm going to take a piece off, lock that in too. Let the rest ride. Canadians are good food too in Canada. Beautiful country, honestly. If you go to like the not super cold parts, they're still usually mountains, but they're less cold. If you go during the summer, it's really nice. Like, I've traveled to Canada a lot during the summer. It's super nice. Yeah, generally. Yeah, today we also have Salesforce earnings after the bell. So we're not just have Nvidia, we have Salesforce. All right, so USCA says, I think they will come around regarding Europe. China welcomes more cooperations with firms, including Morgan Stanley. And they said, the China vice premier said, I welcome U.S. financial institutions and long-term capital to participate in China's capital market, end quote. USCEA's Moran says Canada is anxious for a trade deal. And markets are pulling back after tapping highs really quick and then pulling and then dipping here. I've been kind of buying this dip, though. It's treated me right so far. And there's a little bit more good action here. We'll see if it continues back up. It's kind of choppy, though. And I think we could have, like, even bigger range chop today just based off of the catalyst. We got Fed minutes. We got Nvidia earnings today. A lot of stuff going on. So it's a day where we could, you know, in theory, get a decent amount of sideways movement. But who knows, man? We could also just run one way or another. You never really know here. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and lock that in and just sell at the top. So that's nice. All right. We got the little bounce we wanted. Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're trying to work with us, which is good. Yeah, like it seems like they want to do deals with us. Again, if you haven't already, check out TopStep. TopStep gives you a 50K demo. They test your skill with it. If you pass the test, they fund you. If you fail, you only lose what you pay for it. The base one is $50 a month. It's a perfect way to learn how to day trade without risking too much. Because if you try to fund your own account day trading, you're probably going to lose thousands, tens of thousands potentially, depending on where you try to trade it. This curbs some of that risk, lets you learn, still risking something. The base one's $50 a month. You're still risking something. If you pass it, you get a 90% split, 10K in profit. So it's very similar to funding your own account in terms of split once you pass it, as long as you can follow their rules. And if you fail, you're out $50. It's the best of both worlds. They've paid out hundreds of millions, fund thousands. The futures market, you can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, gold, some currencies. And the futures market, a great way to learn. Most pro day traders trade futures. If you sign up, go to my link and use TopStep X, you get 0 commission, which makes the edge even bigger here. 0 commission on TopStep X makes the edge even bigger. And again, we'll put this up in chat, pin it to the top of the page so you can see it. There's the link right there. Always remember, though, chat, not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. Always make your own assessment. Understand CFDC 4.41, hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations. Can't guarantee anything. Not an investment professional. All right, so we're still rebounding back up. The top of the range I'm looking at on the NASDAQ is 525. That's where I was looking before. Nvidia's after hours. I mean, I could put a timer up. It's not going to do much, but I could put some type of timer up. All right, guys. Yeah, I mean, I think we might have a big range, but sideways. It depends on what some of these blue chips do. You can see Nvidia down here at 136. We got Palantir up there pushing up at 124s. Apple at over 200s again at 201s, which is an optimistic thing for Apple. Meta 640s. Microsoft sitting at 460. So most things are starting to push up short term. We'll see if they hold, but most things are trying to make moves here. We'll see if they continue. A little boring ahead of Fed minutes, but we got a lot of stuff going on. All right, look at us tap 525s here. All right, Nasdaq's testing the top of that range. See if it pushes higher. It wants to, it looks like. Ready to break highs of the day maybe here. Let's see if we do. Or whether it's just kind of like a liquidity grab type of thing. We'll see. It's getting close. It tapped at the top of the range. It's up there. Is it going to be a liquidity grab? Or is it going to run? Let's watch Nvidia. I think Nvidia is driving, like, the driving force here. Nvidia's starting to head up. We broke the highs of the day, I think. Yeah, these are highs of the day. So we got over highs. It's just about whether we hold now over these highs. We can get a pullback to like 525s now if we get a decent one. Let's see. We got a little bit of one. All right, there's the 525 dip. We bounced right off of it. Look at that 525 bounce. Capri CEO says Michael Kors retail channel saw sequential improvement in March that continued into Q1. Isn't Michael Kors like done? Like they're basically not big anymore. Nobody really uses them anymore. And this is why I don't invest in fashion brands. Like I refuse to mess with fashion companies just because like trends change way too quickly. Except for like Louis Vuitton maybe, but even that's probably a little risky to invest in. like LVMH. Like you can see kind of the downfall of like Lululemon. Right, so we're bouncing right there at 525s. Yeah, Coors was big. And again, with somebody that has a wife, they were big. And then they just basically faded into obscurity. Like nobody wants them anymore. No offense to anybody that has their stuff. I just don't see anybody wanting them anymore. Yeah, I mean, Lululemon, their stock fell a huge percentage. And again, maybe they survive. I don't know. But for me, the fashion industry is just too risky to invest money in. All right, look at that 525 bounce. We talked about it, man. Look at that. Yeah, Nvidia earnings are after the closing bell today, chat. They're going to be after the close. You know, we talked about how we wanted to buy the 525 dip. In one of our other challenge accounts, though, we shorted this for some reason. Yeah, I mean, you got to understand Lululemon, you have to understand the nature of the world at that period of time, right? Like, when did Lululemon get big? They got big when everybody was stuck at home. So leisure wear, wearing sweatpants out every day was like the cool, popular thing that everybody did, wearing leisure wear. But after a certain point, it becomes less cool to do all that stuff. Like, right? Like, wearing leisure wear is not cool anymore. And so that's kind of what happened. Is that like after a certain point, people just stopped wearing sweatpants everywhere. And that wasn't good for Lululemon. And paying $100 for a pair of sweatpants, you know, there's a finite amount of time where people are going to be willing to do that. It is probably when everybody's stuck at home without much to do. You know? And so that's what happened with Lulu. All right, we're pushing up right now. Yeah, I mean, that might be true, Lolo. I don't know the history of Lulu, to be honest. I know you buy a little flimsy hat, it's like $100. You know, and I truly believe Lululemon is like a placebo effect. Like, I truly believe it. I've talked to so many different people that have done this exact thing to me, and I feel like somebody did it to them, and now they're just going around doing it to people, right? What I mean is, like, I'll try I'll try some Walmart sweatpants on. And I'll feel the way the Walmart sweatpants feel. And then somebody gets me to try a pair of Lululemon sweatpants on. And they're like, oh, look at how comfortable these are. And just them putting that thought in my head, I think people are like, oh, these are comfortable. They're the same freaking thing, bro. You can buy the same stuff at Walmart for 30% the price. You know, but somebody's telling you how comfortable they are, so you're paying more attention to it now, and it's just a placebo effect. And now you're paying, you know, 100% markup or more, really, for a placebo effect, you know? That's really truly what I think it is. I think people are getting placebo affected into buying Lululemon sweatpants, paying $200 for it. Truly, I believe this. And I know we're gonna have some people here that are like, "Nah, bro, they are comfortable." I don't know. It's not the Dunning-Kruger effect. The Dunning-Kruger effect, and number one, you're probably being sarcastic here because you're making fun of me for using these terms so much. The placebo effect is a pretty well-known term, though. I mean, everybody can use the placebo effect term. Placebo effect just means, hey, I just made money on that short that I did. Placebo effect basically means like your brain's convincing you something works. I really think people have that. Dunning-Kruger effect basically means that people that know less about a subject, they have the illusion they know more, right? So an example of this would be like rookie traders going around criticizing everybody's trades because they had 3 good trades in a row and they think they're geniuses now. So like Dunning-Kruger effect basically means like people that are new in something think they're experts because they don't know, they know so little. They don't understand how vast and big the knowledge base is for something, so they think they know a lot when really they know very little. Is what the Dunning-Kruger effect means. We got a big pullback here. I'm trying to see if it's catalyst driven. So the EU Trade Commissioner says the EAU and Europe official launch talks for a trade deal regarding Europe and the United Arab Emirates. So that news came out a couple minutes ago. I buy, honestly, for me criticizing people paying it, like, I buy a lot of stuff from, like, Travis Matthew, and I don't even play golf. I buy, like, Under Armour stuff a lot. Like, I wear a lot of t-shirts and, like, sweatpants, you know? But I refuse to wear Lululemon t-shirts and sweatpants, you know? Like, I know the young generation has, like, the baggy shirts is, like, cool now. Like, you get, like, a baggy shirt. You get, like, a chain, you know what I mean? You get, like... I don't even know. You get like really short shorts, like a baggy t-shirt and like a chain, you know, and then you get like a perm, you know what I mean? You basically look like Slater from Saved by the Bell. I get it, that's cool right now, but I'm from a different generation. You know, I really am. And so I'm just not cool. That's what I'm saying. I'm just not cool, is what I'm saying. All right, guys, so we're starting to break down. We're under 525s. NASDAQ putting in almost a, like if we get a rebound back up to 525, I will definitely short this because it kind of looks like a head and shoulders. We need a large rebound back up though, and I'll short it. Yeah, I go to the gym. It's a bunch of Slaters from Saved by the Bell with perms. And they're like, what's up? And I'm like, hey guys, you know. But I just can't be cool like that right now. You know, I had to buy myself a pack of regular socks because somebody told me that me wearing ankle socks ages me. And it's true. I wear ankle socks, you know. Yeah, I'll either wear ankle socks or no socks. But all right, we'll see if we get a bounce back. I kind of want this, like, look, we got a head shoulders pattern if we get a bounce back. Here's the head. Here's one shoulder. If we get a rebound back up to here, we might have the second shoulder of the head and shoulders pattern. So I'm waiting for that to happen here. We never got it. I should have shorted this little pop, but that's okay. Let's see if we stop here at 21.5s. 21.5s. Nvidia dipping down a little bit. It's still over the 200 exponential in the volume weighted average price, though, so it's still looking okay. See, I don't get socks that are that long, though. I just wear normal socks now. Like, if I did get the really long socks you pull up, I would get, like, Adidas and, like, a fitted backwards red cap, and I'd walk around the gym that way. All right, we're at 508s right now. I'd basically be like Fred Durst or Korn, you know. But I'm not going to be that either. All right, so we're at the bottom of the range now, but we're over 21.5s. Pretty big dip. I don't really see any news that could push the market down except for maybe the EU Trade Commissioner saying the UAE and Europe officially launching trade talks. They probably would, Jay. That's probably true. All right, so 7 minutes until top of the hour, 9 a.m. Let's see what we get. We're green mostly. All right, so we're about to hit 21.5s. Do I want to buy the 21.5 dip? Kind of. I'll try it. We're going to take one here. Wait, it's the wrong position. Okay, yeah. We're going to take one here. We're going to add to it. Down to 21.5s. There's 3. We'll take 4 max here. Not really going to add more than that. Just see if we get a pop back up. There we go. It's such a small trade. Like on that pop, I don't really want to take profit because it's so small. Like I'd like a little bit more, especially since we've been taking longer term trades. Got to give it some time, I think. Unless it pops up big in my direction as soon as I enter, I think I gotta wait some. All right, that's a little bit better. We'll take a little bit off there, just one. Lock in some profit, maybe take another piece and then let the last one sit. So far this can bounce back up. Maybe add a little bit more back to it if we get a dip. That's pretty good. We're gonna add to that, pull back here, see if we retrace. We got 2 contracts now. Nvidia bounced right here at the VWAP 200 exponential though. Let's see if this continues. I want to see Nvidia continue the bounce because that's going to drive the NASDAQ back up with it. What's up, Tiny? Hey, good morning. Hope you're doing good. Kind of range trading today, honestly, with Nvidia earnings, Fed minutes report and stuff. We'll take another little piece off there, lock that in. We've been mostly profitable this morning. There we go. Add a little bit to this. Pretty good trade. I mean, we made a good bit from it. We'll see if we go up more, but I'm gonna go ahead and cut it right there. Not bad. We caught the bounce that we wanted. Very small bounce, but bounce nonetheless. Nvidia bounced at the VWAP area. We don't really have any news breaking today. We still got some stuff going on later regarding any news. We got Germany's person speaking. Kind of slowed down a little bit news-wise this morning. Hey, give me a follow at Beginner Trades, though. We cover all the breaking news. Doesn't cost anything, so at Beginner Trades, at BGINNER Trades, TRADES, Beginner Trades. On X, give me a follow. Appreciate it. We've been growing a lot there, honestly. Our posts have been getting some attention, too. So I don't even know what cool means anymore. I mean, I know I'm definitely not cool and I'm old, and that's okay. I'm not in any positions day trading. It'll show you how many ticks I'm up or down in my positions. Yeah, we're watching Bitcoin too. We'll see if it does anything good. But all right, so we're at 21.5s right now, 21.5s. Nvidia bounced exactly off of that VWAP level. GameStop's bought up $500 million worth of Bitcoin. It's propelling them higher today, although Bitcoin is kind of slumped a little bit. It's slightly red, down to under 109s for spot Bitcoin. Again, later on today, we got the Fed minutes report. We have Nvidia earnings, which is kind of like the Super Bowl of finance that we're going to be covering here. So we got some stuff. But it's a little boring. Sorry, Pawn, if I shut down Discord for a little while just because of I don't want it to lag out. So just a heads up there. If you're sending me anything. All right, chat. I bought myself one of those lightweight geese. I'm wondering if it's just gimmicky and I'm going to get it and it's going to be just like a regular gi though. That's the only thing I'm worried about. All right, chat. Well, I only mention Top Step maybe once every hour or so. Look at that 21.5 bounce level. We got it pretty solid there. So like me trading on Top Step, I mean, I'm going to mention it. That's pretty standard. Yeah, let me know in chat right now. Do we bounce from here or do we continue up? It's now past 9. We got less than 30 minutes until the opening bell. Again, the FOMC minutes report is going to be at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. And, of course, we're going to stream it like we always do. Yeah, so... You know, it's a freaking scary thing right now, bro. And I don't know whether I like it or dislike it, but cops are going crazy. Cops are basically filming every interaction they have with somebody. Like, luckily, I'm not a big drinker, so I've never really had a DWI or DUI ever. But still, I definitely don't want to get one right now, bro. Because if I did, which I'm not going to, but if I did, it's going to be on the internet somehow, you know. All right, so we're pulling back down to 21.5s. Cops with social medias is a scary thing, bro. I would assume we'd have implied privacy, but who knows, man? Paul Walker says music's good. Hey, we appreciate it, man. This is an old playlist, though. We've had this playlist for a long time. We're starting to pull back to 21.5s, though. Nvidia earnings here. I gotta put this up. Nvidia earnings. Look, I'm just gonna put it here. All right, here you go, chat. Hold on, wait. There you go. Right there. You're welcome. All right, there's 21.5s. FOMC minutes is today. Yeah, generally acceptable, for sure. Generally. Except for my grandma's cousin's aunt yesterday. Do you want to buy the dip? Honestly, we're kind of chopping back and forth. Like, I generally support police. I just think that I don't know if broadcasting people's worst moments in life is a healthy thing. You know, I don't know if they're helping anybody by doing it. I think they're actually making people's lives worse in that regard. And you could, all right, so the EU Trade Commissioner says they are in conversations with the U.S. looking into tariff lines and cooperations on fields such as aviation, semiconductors, and steel. And so we did get some news reports today regarding the EU Trade Commissioner. All right, so we did have that news. Capri Holdings still posting some stuff, but the EU Trade Commissioner says they're in conversations with the U.S. and looking into tariff lines, cooperations on fields such as aviation, semiconductors, and steel. All right, so Nvidia's China revenue is set to cross $6 billion in quarter one. But aren't they expected to lose $5.5 billion based off of the H2O chip restrictions? I'll have a spaghetti with a side salad. If the salad is on top, I send it back. That's all I'm saying. All right, so we're bouncing here. We're at 21.5s. Here's 21.513s. China's AI chips. Nvidia will do fine. Yeah, I mean, I think here's the thing with Nvidia, right? Like Nvidia, they'll probably beat EPS at revenue, in my opinion. The question though is, will that make them go up still? Like they need a big beat and they need good numbers and good data in their earnings report to go up. Even if it's better than the EPS expectations or it's better than the revenue expectations, I think that there's a chance it still doesn't go up. And because earnings are not always that easy to gauge the reaction to. Most people look at EPS and revenue, and if we beat that, they get mad if it goes down, right? But it's super nuanced, and traders digest all kind of different metrics from these reports that influence whether they buy or sell. A lot of the moves for this is happening prior to the earnings report as well. And so if you look at Nvidia prior to the earnings report, it's up a pretty significant amount leading into today's earnings report. And so what this means is that if we get good numbers, the chance of profit taking is going to increase as well. It doesn't mean we're not going to go up if we had good EPS revenue and guidance. What it means is that maybe investors and traders are going to be a little bit more strict regarding Nvidia here. And if it doesn't have perfect results, they might negatively react to it, sell, take profit, get out while they can from positions they've been holding for the last couple weeks or months. So that's the dynamic for Nvidia's earnings. There's a lot of stuff to pay attention to regarding Nvidia's earnings report today, and we're going to stream it live as we always do. But yeah, the H2O chip restriction is going to be in the front of everybody's mind. Guidance numbers are important. Right. That's basically what I just said. Yeah, for sure. I don't know what Nvidia is going to do for their earnings. Genuinely don't know. We'll wait and see, but I really genuinely don't know. Effective federal funds rate hasn't budged. It's at 4.33% as of May 27th, yesterday. I hear BJ Penn's going crazy. I think this is going to impact how a lot of people fight in the future. I think you see fighters retiring early. All right, so NASDAQ holding at that 21.5 level we talked about. It's starting to head back up. I'm looking at 525 for the top of the range. Although a lot of it depends on what blue chips do. But we're starting to see some upward pressure here, which is good. What is Meta doing? Microsoft creeping higher, just broke highs of the day at 462s. Palantir slightly green, I think. Google looking pretty solid. Good day yesterday for Google as well. AMD's up there also at 115s. Look at that green candle here, chat. So something's going on. Let's see. It's a green candle for sure. All right, so European Union says it's in constant talks with the U.S. to finalize a new trade deal. So we already covered that. Nvidia earnings isn't even today. It's reported after hours. We will see the resulting price change tomorrow. I mean, no offense, Jonathan, but is 4 p.m. today? Today or tomorrow, sir? Still, just to add to that as well, do you think that prices close down at 4 p.m.? Do you not think prices update from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. in after hours? Because we can see the prices change. And so the overarching point I'm trying to make is, yes, the market will be somewhat open at 4 something p.m. when Nvidia earnings drop, and we'll be able to see the price change immediately as the earnings come out. Yeah, Nvidia's open basically 24/7 anyway. What's up, Femi? Femi says it's all about guidance. It's only up 1% for the year. I actually think guidance and negative sentiment will lead to potential upside surprise. Maybe. That sounds good. I hope so. I hope you're right. All right, guys. 18 minutes. 18 minutes. Yeah, it's 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Mark. All right, guys. So we are very choppy today for NASDAQ, S&P. I'm assuming the E-mini and the S&P is sideways as well. Yeah. at least over the last 3 hours or so. Any thoughts on Japan's current market situation? Well, I think yields are getting really high, and the yield market over there is getting really weak. Or the bond market over there is getting really weak. It's scaring a lot of people because of the carry trade dynamic. So with with worse interest rates, I don't know. I think the carry trade dynamic is in play as well, but we'll have to wait and see. It's an interesting thing to watch, though. You got to watch the Japan market right now. All right, so we're still above this range here. But yeah, so I'm watching AMD and Nvidia Palantir. GameStop also bought up $500 million worth of Bitcoin. It's sitting right at the previous close. It's at 35, so it kind of broke out of that range. But yeah, so the recent surge in Japanese bonds is significantly impacting the dynamics of the yen carry trade, a strategy that has long influenced U.S. markets, to be honest. And the yen carry trade thing is basically where people use the Japanese yen because of its low interest rate environment where they have to pay back less interest. So they get basically cheap leverage with it, and they use that leverage to buy up U.S. assets, right? But what happens is that when the interest rates are less favorable, they end up selling off their yen-backed positions, and this causes sell-offs in U.S. markets because they're selling U.S. financial assets that they bought up using the low interest rate of the Japanese yen. Super nuanced, but understand this. That's basically what's going on. The yen carry involves borrowing the Japanese yen at low interest rates and investing in higher yielding assets such as U.S. treasuries, equities, stock market. It's been attractive due to Japan's historically low interest rates, but in recent weeks, yields on long-term bonds in Japan have risen sharply. The 40-year yield reached a record high of 3.689%. It settled at 3.31, while the 30-year climbed up to 2.91%. This spike is attributed to a bunch of different things. Recent auctions have seen weak demand, policy shifts in the Bank of Japan, and fiscal concerns about GDP. As yields rise, the advantage of investing in foreign assets diminishes, and so a strengthening yen, also often accompanying rising domestic yields, can erode returns on foreign investments when converted back. Japanese investors may begin to repatriate funds selling foreign assets like U.S. stuff, which can cause sell-offs in markets. And it could put upward pressure on U.S. interest rates and negatively affect equity markets, particularly sectors heavily reliant on foreign capital. So that is the Japanese yen situation. And yeah, it's not good. It's not good. All right, we got 14 minutes left. All right, we're starting to dip down. We're at 21.5s. GameStop at 35.5s as well. Let's day trade the opening bell, chat. We'll see what we get today. Hopefully we get some good stuff. Fed today, Chuck. We're going to stream that live as well. It's going to be a busy day for me personally. That's all right. Busy's good. And again, if you want to check out Top Step, I'll put the link up. Great way to help support the channel. If you want to learn day trading, just don't fund your own account thousands of dollars trying to look cool in markets. You're probably going to lose it. It doesn't matter what course you take, what your mentor says. Most day traders lose their first year or two. It's called market tuition. You could pay your market tuition funding your own account, or you can limit the risk. Pay $50 a month for the base Top Step challenge. If you can make $3K without losing $2K in profit on a demo, they fund you $50K, 90% split. You get to keep your first $10K in profit. And on their new dashboard, they process payouts quick. We took one last week. They processed it incredibly quick. And it's a great way to learn. And they've paid out hundreds of millions. They fund thousands. If you use my link, you can go to Top Step X. If you criticize me making a post about a sponsor, I'm just going to ban you, by the way. But yeah, there's the link right there if you want to check it out. Great way to help support the channel. All right, guys, we got 13 minutes. 13 minutes. Although, again, they're an affiliate or sponsor of mine. I'm biased because I get paid by them. So, Understand CFTC 4.41, hypothetical or simulated performance, have limitations, can't guarantee anything, don't copy me. Not an investment professional. Sometimes I trade, sometimes I lose off stream. Sometimes I'm the top 3 worst trader ever, don't copy me. All right, we're pulling back to that 21.5 level here. You do realize that the Fed cutting rates is literally creating inflation on purpose. Why would you want more inflation? Okay, let's talk about it. So the Federal Reserve's job is to maintain balance, okay? On one end, let's just call it this end, you have weak economics. So you have weak GDP, people getting fired, people getting laid off, people having weak, a weak labor market. Nobody finds jobs, nobody works. People are unhappy in that regard. On the other end of that, you have inflation problems. People can't afford things, right? And these two balance each other out most of the time. And so in a low interest rate environment, you get this end of it, where when interest rates are that's the opposite. In a low interest rate environment and with a lot of economic stimulus, you get this end of it, which is high inflation. When the labor market is too strong, you get inflation problems and you get prices spiking. That's something we've seen over the last 5 years. And it partly is due to the economic stimulus in the low interest rate environment in the early 2020s. Justifiably so, in my opinion. Like, they had to save us from lockdowns and all kind of crazy stuff. They sent out stimulus checks. All this economic stimulus, supply chain problem caused inflation. And so that's one end of it. The other end of it is, like I said, weak unemployment, low unemployment or high unemployment, weak GDP data, people not working, people not spending. And so the Fed's job is to maintain balance between these two here somewhere, right? That's the Fed's job. And they can do this in a lot of ways. They can stimulate the economy. If we get too weighted towards this side here where the economy is too weak, they can stimulate it. They can bring interest rates down. They can print money through quantitative easing, which is a form of money printing in which they create online bank reserves and then use that to buy up bonds and assets and injecting liquidity into markets and helping keep interest rates low. The consequence of that economic stimulus can bring us to the other side, which is inflation, and so their job is to keep it balanced. Like, too much to one side is bad. Too strong of a labor market, too low of interest rates, we got inflation problems. Too high of interest rates for too long, too restrictive of monetary policy, too much quantitative tightening, which is restricting liquidity for markets. It can cause weak economics, weak GDP, high unemployment, so forth and so on. And so the Fed's job is to maintain balance between those two. And so, honestly, just straight up cutting rates does not necessarily spike inflation in a super profound way. What does, though, is economic stimulus through quantitative easing. That can spike inflation quickly. It is because it's basically dilution. It's money printing. So it's nuanced, but too much of one thing is bad. All right, guys, we got 8 minutes left. 8 minutes left. Did we have any lag? Did we lag a little bit? Let me know if we did. All right, guys, so we're dipping down a little bit. Look at this. We're at 21.5s right now, 21.5s. All right, guys, opening bell is in 8 minutes. Look at this dip in markets. Let's see if we hold. Yeah, there's no lag. Apparently, there's some type of like glitch with YouTube right now is what it looks like to me. Hey, what's up, Jose? He said, thank you, John. I appreciate the explanation. That's what I like about your channel. You educate instead of getting upset. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty neutral on all this stuff, and it's such a subjective thing, right? Like, whether you want low interest rates or high interest rates is a subjective thing. If you fear inflation, you're going to want high interest rates. If you fear recession, you're going to want low interest rates. And, you know, both of those things can be good or bad, right? Depending on the current landscape of the economy and market. So it's very nuanced. But yeah. I mean, I can check Top Step, but I mean, I'm gonna go buy one. Let me buy one real quick. All right, NASDAQ finally hitting that 200 EMA here, chat. Let me see. Where's the status? I mean, we're not really seeing any issues. Look, I'm gonna start a new trade. I'm gonna go to their new dashboard though, because their new dashboard is just better. Let's start one. Top Step X. Agree. Yes. All right, so we just started a new combine, and the new combine is already right here. So I mean, saying there's some type of delay in account creation, I just bought one like 5 seconds ago, and look, it's here already. Top Step X. If you're using a different thing besides Top Step X, I don't know. Top Step X is the one you should be using. Look at this red action here, chat. Look at this red dip. Yeah, I mean, SO, what I'm trying to say is, like, I'm not saying cutting rates doesn't influence inflation at all. What I'm saying is it's not as big of an impact as the more desperate decision of QE, which is much more dilution, much quicker. Okay, so obviously there's going to be some impact to prices if you cut interest rates, eventually, especially. But what I'm trying to say is that what really makes inflation a risk is quantitative easing and money printing. Yeah, I'm on a 1 minute chart, but I'm using a 5 minute and a 3 minute in the background just to clarify. I trade some altcoins and stuff. I don't know what Nvidia is going to do. It depends on the numbers. Guidance is big, of course, so we're going to be paying attention to that for sure. See if we reject 21.5s. We're right at that 200 exponential and we're bouncing up some, but we got 3 minutes or so into the opening bell. I don't feel like getting stuck in that. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out who's talking to me or who's not. You must be talking to somebody else, RMC. I'm assuming you're talking to somebody else. I'm trying to make sure nobody's talking to me. It's hard to answer everybody's stuff. Yeah, I mean, as of now, the only thing that would influence the rate decision short term, I mean, this week it might influence it. We got GDP this week. GDP comes in negative and inflation comes in low. That might increase the odds of a rate cut. I don't know by how much. I still think it's pretty probable we're not going to cut rates in June. But if we get low inflation, saying, okay, inflation's under control, we got a little bit of price stability, and we get weak GDP data, and even like jobless claims, if that comes in high, all of these things might contribute to higher increased odds of rate cuts. I still don't think we're going to cut rates, but it might change the odds of it. We got 2 minutes, chat. 2 minutes. Yeah, I mean, Robinson, you're wrong. I just bought a Top Step account, and it literally showed up immediately in Top Step X, brother. So whatever it is on your end. I literally just tested it out and bought one. You can see it's a fresh account, and they gave it to me in 10 seconds, sir. Okay, Sam, yeah, I got you. Yeah, so we're kind of chopping sideways right ahead of the opening bell. We got a minute and a half left. Okay, gotcha, R. Yeah, all good. All right, guys, 45 seconds. We got AMD and some other stuff, Nvidia and other microchip related stuff dip, but now we're popping right back above that 21.5 level. I think I'm just gonna wait. I would make sure you're using the new dashboard as well, though. All right, so look at this big rebound back up. We got 15 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. All right, so there's the opening bell here, guys. We're watching Nvidia pretty closely here. I'm going to put up some other relevant stuff that's going to move markets a little bit. Here's Apple. We're going to put up Apple and Nvidia. Look at the NASDAQ push back up, though. It's over that 21.5 level. The European Trade Commissioner said that they're going to speak with Lutnick and Greer on Thursday and then on every other day. So it looks like they're going to get a deal done. What was that? What the heck was that? All right, guys, look at this big upward push and then a huge retracement back down here. Apple's popping up, so this looks like Apple. It looks strong. It's too close to the opening bell for me to get involved here, though. We got to just chill and wait. We're letting the opening bell play out, although Apple's looking strong. Nvidia's dipping down, and other microchip stocks are falling down a little bit as well. All right, U.S. Department of Labor has withdrawn 2022 guidance that warned fiduciaries against including crypto in 401k plans. That's pretty bullish for crypto, I would say. That's some big money that gets involved there is in those 401ks and pensions. So big money's getting behind crypto. That's good. It doesn't mean a tariff deal was with Europe, but it's definitely looking more optimistic. No, Top Step X and Top Step X is a platform. Top Step is a company. All right, look at this rebound back up. It's mostly driven by, it looks like Apple right now. So look at Apple push. All right, so the Bitcoin act to buy 1 million Bitcoin hits the floor next week, according to Senator Loomis. Ugh. All right. Now we're ripping up to that 525 level. We're watching it. Oh, dude, I bought, but it was like the worst possible fill I could get. We're almost back green in it though. There we go. Let's see if we push higher. There we go. We are green in it now. That's good. It took a little while though. I'll put this one up, show you guys which one we're in. Kind of flat now though. But there we go. It's better. Nice. Took another piece off. We're now effectively green. I like Palantir long term. I think it needs to catch up to its PE ratio though. Yeah, I really have no idea what Nvidia is going to do for price today, guys. Asking me that's, you know, is like asking me what the weather is going to be like in a year from now. I have no freaking idea. Nobody does really. All right, so we got to pull back. I will buy a dip here. It needs to be a large enough dip though. That's large enough. I'll take 2 contracts into this. We'll add 2 of it down here, see if we pop back up. There we go. There we go. Nice. Small cushions on the day, but this cushion's good. I don't see any meta news. AMD's down a lot though. I don't know why Meta's going up. It's at 650s right now. The weather's predictable, but not in a year from now. It's not. Look at that retracement. So, still trying to get over 525s. I mean, we got this level up here now that we got to watch, I think. Look at that. I'm gonna buy this dip. Very small pullback though. We'll see if we get a little pop back up. There we go. Like half off. I'll hold the rest close to break even, but I hope it holds. But we'll cut the rest break even. We're out. Made money on it though. Looks like we got out exactly at the right time. We might bounce right here. It looks a little light. Yeah, I see Meta ripping up. Meta hit 650s, pulled back some. Where's my music? There it is. Still pushing up. We're right at the previous high of the day now. It's mostly Meta bringing us higher and some other blue chips, but Nvidia is slightly down, although it's starting to look stronger here. Look at that rip over the previous high. Look at that rip. Wow. Looks good. Look at that squeeze. Sheesh. Look at that pop. It's a big green candle, man. Is he gonna push highs again? Wow. Kind of volatile of movements. Do I want to short this now? I don't know. I don't usually trade against the trend, but I think, you know what? I'll short one contract here. It's a little risky, but that's all right. It's Nvidia earnings day, Fed minutes day, so maybe we're going to get some range. That's the logic of this short, but it's one micro contract, so it's tiny. I just don't want to get this one pullback to get bought up. That's the only thing. There we go. Add a little bit to it, but I took a piece off. Good. Cover that. Kind of scalping this move. Yeah, I'm not sure, Robinson, man. I'm just a marketer, brother. You're gonna have to figure that one out yourself, dude. Like, you're asking all kind of questions and stuff. Ask them, you know, not me. It's not like I work for them, you know. All right, so we got a pullback here right down to that previous high of the day, and that's getting bought up pretty nice. I feel like this might dip back down, though, so we're gonna try. Netflix was at all-time highs. It's at 1200s. All-time highs are 1216s. It's at 1214. So, I mean, it's pretty much at all-time highs. Like, I'll add to this, but I'm going to keep it 2 contracts max. And I'm going to cut it quick. Alright, we're back to green. I'm going to cut that immediately just because it looks strong, to be honest. We're gonna get out there. Yeah, here's Netflix. Almost 12/16s. Yeah, so again, U.S. Department of Labor withdrew 2022 guidance that warned fiduciaries against including crypto in 401k plans. Yeah, so we're shorting this in our other challenge account. I'll put this up. Small little trade though. We're trying to let this work some. We'll probably get out the rest right there. Tapped off that previous high. $100 contracts? Nah, I'm good, bro. Just way too much. So we just took a very quick trade on that other account too. There's 525, so that's where maybe we'll get a bounce level. We're underneath it now. It's a big red candle here. Let's see if anything happened. Let me make sure we don't have any other data today. I'm pretty sure we don't. We got, yeah, we don't have anything. We got Richmond Manufacturing Index, pretty small, nothing really. We got a whole bunch of stuff today. We got Fed minutes, we got Nvidia. Tomorrow we got GDP, unemployment. Or no, tomorrow we got GDP, jobless claims, pending home sales. Looking weak here. All right, guys. Whew. So we're going to short this again, see if we push back down. If we can break over 525, we'll cut it and get out flat. 200 exponentials underneath us enough to maybe we can kind of ride it down, but if not, it's small. There we go. Nice. There we go. All right, we're gonna go ahead and cut it down there, right over the 200 exponential. What happened to getting the haircut, sir? So I've been doing this thing where I've been slicking my hair back like this. So like I'm leaving it long for now because I've been doing the slick back, kind of grown look. This is my morning hair though, so like I still probably need a cut, but I'm delaying getting my hair cut for a little while. All right, guys, we're at the 200 EMA. And again, if you haven't already, check out Top Step. We're day trading on Top Step's funded account program today. They give you a 50K demo, test your skill with it. You pass the test, they fund you. You fail, you only lose what you pay for. We've been trading some challenge accounts today. We got our funded account here too, but no PDT rule in futures. You know, you can day trade, short, buy market, sell market. Great way to learn how to day trade because most day traders lose. So if you put the money up yourself, you're probably going to lose. And this is a much cheaper way. It's $50 a month, $100 a month, $150 a month, depending on which one you take. No PDT in futures. So, I mean, just the best way to learn with limited risk, in my opinion. But again, I don't even claim to be a good trader. Most day traders lose money. But this is just a cheaper way to learn and lose in the beginning. If you want to check it out, here's the link. It's only my third plug of the day in about 3.5 hours. So, not the end of the world. We are starting to flush down here, though, getting weak. See if we retrace back up to that 200 exponential. Yeah, I'm just glad I got hair. I mean, I really am. A lot of the people I grew up with don't. Yeah. A lot of people I grew up with don't have hair, so I'm just glad I have lots of hair, to be honest. Top 3 most hair-having traders in the world right now. Yeah, so I think we might start trending back up, to be completely honest here. I think it's Nvidia earnings day, Fed minutes report day. I think we'll probably get choppiness. Who knows, though? Anything could happen. But yeah, I think we might trend sideways today. Should I buy this? All right, we'll try buying 5 contracts. We've got a cushion on this one on the day, but it's a challenge account, so if we lose, we'll add to it, take a risk. All right, that's better. See if we bounce up a little bit more. There we go. I'm gonna take half of this off and just protect the trade. Sometimes it's better to be in account preservation mode. That's good. Take some more off there. All right, we'll get out that. See if we rejected the 200 EMA. I think we'll probably, like I said, I think we'll probably head back up, personally. I want hair like Bob Ross. Oh, it's coming, bro. If I let it go, honestly, that's what my hair looks like long. Is if I let it go too long, that's what it looks like. It's Bob Ross. All right, so 21.5s. We're right at 21.5s. Again, I tend to think we're gonna chop sideways, big range. I think we're gonna do this most of the day. We got too many catalysts today not to do this. So yeah, like I tend to think we're gonna be big range, you know, like this most of the day, and leading into FOMC minutes, leading into Nvidia. That's what I think. Who knows, though? Anything could happen. So I think I'm just going to cut it and get out of here. Hey, I love you all. You'll have a great day. We'll be back in a few hours. Remember, in about 2 or 3 hours, we got the Fed minutes report. About an hour after that, we got the Nvidia earnings report. We're going to stream it all live right here. I'm going to take a break since I'm going to be streaming all day. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Y'all be good. I love you all. Have a great day. See you in a few hours, chat.